Hello guys and welcome to the O's World Cup. Coming in are the matches of the round of 16, and today commentating we have one of our favorite Chinese commentator, because it's the only Chinese commentator, Efren. Hello there, Efren, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, so I was actually commentating, but I didn't realize I was pressing down the wrong button, so turns out that I was speaking for nothing. Yeah.
It seems like Efren is not a good O's player because he's keeping on pressing the wrong buttons. But,
yeah, I know I should be instead catching fruits or like drawing stuff, right? Something not so much as clicking circles. Yeah, I'm so sorry. But what I'm not sorry for is showing up here today, because I know that it's going to be an amazing match between these two teams. China versus Australia. One team possibly the strongest in Asia at the moment. I know it's controversial, debatable, but let's leave it for that for now. And the other is definitely Australian star, because it's in Australia, the continent. No way around it. That's Team Australia. And of course, it's going to be a very myself.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting match. That's what at least that I can also agree to, because China is one of the best teams to win this. I'd say it's definitely the top 4, and there are plenty of teams which have the possibility to, but China is definitely one of them. And Australia actually, despite some of the shortcomings in the last few months, what happened, as in for example Kokichi defecting over to China, and Australia actually losing people like Jeffy Davis. So it's gonna be really interesting. They performed pretty well so far, but this will definitely tell how far or how well Australia can put up with a top 4 team. And actually seems like we get the first warm-up coming in, which is a Lazy Town song. What a wonderful song. That's perfect, the perfect way to kick up and start the round of 16.
Now look at this net that I just found. When I say go, be ready to throw. Go!
Well, yeah, for the sound, we're gonna go through the all the technicalities, which is warm-ups and then rolling. So it's gonna take a little while until we get to the real matches. But for now, we can just enjoy these carefully hand-selected warm-up maps. Let's put it that way. Oh yeah, and I actually forgot to introduce myself for people who don't know me. I'm on G-Force, commentating with Efren. And it seems like the first one is gonna start. A lazy song, a Lazy Town song. Our favorite children's show. But this map is actually pretty okay for, perhaps being a bit of a weird song, or not a song you usually used to seeing in this, except something associated with trolling.
Hi guys, sorry for being absent. I'm back now. My 20 client just crashed for no reason, and my computer, everything became frozen. So yeah, so thanks for covering for me, Force. Sorry for leaving you hanging.
No, I got your back.
Yeah. Oh, what's this I'm seeing? Is this my favorite childhood show as well?
Yeah, indeed. But
oh, sorry, it's not SpongeBob. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, no animation here. That's not your favorite anime, I'm sorry.
Hey. I don't know who this pick might be, but I don't think it's by Team China. I doubt they know this meme, but definitely very interesting to see that Tokichi is running Hard Rock and Rust running Hidden. Maybe they're already preparing themselves for what's coming next.
Look at this net that I just found. When I say go, be
Yeah,
ready to
like
throw.
most teams well, a lot of teams have different kind of ideas of what to pick as a warm-up, and in community tournaments I've at least seen a bunch of them, different ones, which might involve a little bit more strategy. But in this case, because of the US World Cup, where you have the biggest audience pretty much, I guess most people just want to opt to go for a troll pick to kind of see what the reaction is like.
And also, there's also the strategy of picking a warm-up to purposely messing up your opponent's feel of the rhythms. For example, picking like a 260 BPM death stream right before the actual match is about to start, and then on your own pick, immediately pick something like 160 BPM. Yeah, that can really screw up some people.
Yeah, or you can just target, focus on specific players. Would you choose pick a map you know they don't like and might tilt them out of the lobby?
We are number one.
One thing I, for example, can think of is picking Big Black as a warm-up against Kukisi.
Okay, so the first one is done, and it seems like that across the board, very good performance, except for Doomy, who actually failed. That's right, Doomy, I'm
Doom
looking
is
at
the
you.
real trooper, man. Look at him go. Look,
still,
he's playing the. Look, guys, I'm actually really bad. I got a 65% accuracy card, but in the real match, he's gonna see everything.
Right, RXE saying in the chat that he can possibly single tap this map.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too difficult in terms of the stream lengths and stuff like that. But then again, it's a Lazy Town song. You can't really expect 260 BPM death streams rocking in from
That's true.
guitar
That's
or
true.
something.
Have you ever caught a good guy like a real superhero?
Oh, that's the first warm down, and now the second warm coming in from China.
Oh, okay, and seems like China has picked Perfect Free, the song mapped by RLC, Skinathan, and Skystar.
Oh, is it? This is the. Oh no, I remember now what it is. I couldn't tell really because there's so many Suki Nathan, Skystar, and colors. I just lost track of them all.
Yeah, these mappers are like your buy one get one free pack. They come together, and sometimes the map is awesome. Sometimes the map can make you wanna just KYS.
Yeah, take two, get free, pretty much.
Yeah, this is I think someone chose it last weekend also. I forgot whom. But basically, it's a approved length, so 5+ minutes, and also that it has two difficulties, 5.89 and 5.9 something, around that range. Yeah, and it's pretty standard your kind of like whoop 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 style mapping. I'm not sure like what the correct term for that is. I'm sorry, mappers. You can correct me afterwards.
Yeah, how dare you generalize? assume my maps patterns.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, and we're going in. See, this one is the one collaboration between Skinathan and RLC, who is now known as XLNI. Not really sure to pronounce that, but I mean, like, that's not the weirdest name we've seen today, obviously.
I mean, just look at the Australian side.
Yeah. Like, the Australians, I don't like them as a commentator. I'm sorry, Australians.
Yeah, if you know who you
seems
are.
like we're just waiting on maybe Crystal or someone to connect. Seems like they're frozen on my screen. I'm not sure what about this.
Things are actually working for me.
Are they?
We got 100 combos all over the place.
Okay, let me just refresh the clients.
And we're coming into the pick Perfect Free, which is a warm pick. It's actually really interesting as a warm-up because it's not too hard in single player, but the sliders can make this a lot more difficult in Scorby too. And another fact for this map is that it just has a really consistent difficulty and doesn't really let go of that.
yeah, aside from the slow part you're seeing now, it really doesn't change much in terms of its consistent difficulty, like Force mentioned. So you do have to watch out for not missing just continuously for about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it actually doesn't have too many mod SCs because it's pretty long and has such a consistent difficulty. Also, the
Yeah.
normals aren't looking too good either on it. Pretty much.
I don't think is the top 50 even saturated with full combos yet?
Yeah, I don't think either. Yeah.
Ah.
That just shows how much of a consistent difficulty it is. Even though it's only 5.9 stars, that pretty much is a testament to how difficult it is to see despite that. Because we see a lot of people have seen 7-star maps which are like 1 minute long. But when it comes to a 5 minutes, 6-star map pretty much, which is consistent throughout the entire map, that's actually really difficult.
Yep, of course. And right now on the field, as you can see, Tokichi is the only one to be holding a full combo now. And I am actually not sure if you can keep that till the end, because this is just one of those maps where you absolutely cannot let down your guard even for 1 second at the hard parts. As you can see that the players are dropping combos left and right. Lumir is the only one on his team to hold a high combo.
Just look at Russell. I think he's actually trying, but has the wrong offset. But I think he's still trying with the hidden hard rock.
Right, and for your information, offsets do tend to matter between players. Some players really want to have the right offsets, otherwise they simply cannot play. Whereas some other players, like me, who are, well, not saying that it's necessarily like not skilled, but we just don't care about it.
Yeah, you can't really notice the difference. Mostly it is because you can kind of try to time stuff with your ears, and you still try to aim perfectly on the cursor. But when things are out of sync because the offset is wrong, then you get really confused, and sometimes you can just ladder break because you move the cursor way too early or way too late and stuff like that, and it just is weird, and the map feels off because of it. And the offset is pretty much just, as a recap for anyone who doesn't know, the map is mapped to the song in a specific timeline, pretty much. And the offset is important because it moves the circles around. The music stays the same, but it moves the circles around. But if, for example, the circles are 100 or 1 second too late for the music, you can definitely notice a difference. But in this case, we're only talking about like 5 milliseconds, which are the important part.
Yeah, and that really, the 5 millisecond time frame can be easily covered up by your own machines, your own delay on your own machine. So to some players, this can make a difference. To some others, that really doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but for example, look at Russell's unstable rates, or like his hit arrow bar.
Yeah, way off.
Consistently too high. That
consistently too high. But I guess that's some sort of consistency as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his unstable rate wouldn't be too fast, because unstable rate doesn't care about how well it is in the middle of it. It's just unstable rate is all about just keeping it constant. Doesn't matter where.
Unless, of course, Roosevelt maybe paying tribute to a fallen comrade of his across to the neighboring city, Hong Kong, who goes by the name of Ming. 313026? I forgot the number.
A bunch of numbers, that's enough. We all know who Ming is. But we don't actually see any combos left, and that's to be expected for this match.
Right, and even though Tokichi had a pretty strong combo, that one drop, as you have seen, really effed him up, for lack of a better term, because he's right now holding a pretty good combo until that drop, of course. But otherwise, he could have very well carried that combo to the end, because one miss is pretty much just one step away from your full combo.
Good enough.
Good enough.
But on the Chinese side, we actually do see Crystal, who I don't think was there last year around. I think it's pretty much a new addition to the team.
Yeah, Crystal is newly added this year. He's actually a Cash to Beat player. He's a Cash to Beat world champion from the Chinese team.
Well, he definitely wants to mingle in the O's World Cup as well, and I've seen him in some community tournaments, and I was actually surprised. He's rather low rank, but has different skill sets which are not to be underestimated, are on the kind of level of top players. For example,
Right.
his alternating skill is just out of this world.
And that's the second warm-up out of the way. And as you can see, Rustbell has an unstable rate graph rivaling that of the thing that doctors use. That name is escaping me again. I'm gonna trip up so many times today. It's 2 a.m. for me. I'm sorry in advance.
It's alright. I can compensate with my
Okay.
own critics. It's okay. Well, yeah, Rustbell paying respects to Ming. Well, that is gonna be the second warm-up. We're now gonna get into the pretty much overhead of all of the matches, which is rolling for the first ban. And
Ooh, there's a pretty good roll there.
for
Oh, so Doomy rolls
67.
67, and Crystal rolls only 39. So that's going to be first pick going over to Australia and first ban going over to China. Seems like
Alright.
luck is on the Australian side today. Let's see if they have the skills to also speak out for them.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's on their side because they are missing Fox.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Who is, to my information, sick currently, and he was a pretty important player in the group stages.
Oh, yeah.
Now he missing is not a good it's not lucky at all for the Australian side.
And up against a team like China, who did come out top on their group, you absolutely cannot afford to have a sub-ideal, a secondary roster trying to hold on, because we've seen that happen a number of times. Actually, this year with Australia, I wouldn't say Australia has the strongest roster this year, but the end result is Austria is gone now, not Australia. I'm making a very fundamental mistake. A lot of people.
Yeah, I think you are. I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah.
Because an Austrian is.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna have to grab a few more cups of espresso.
Alright, while everyone is taking some drugs, I'm gonna at least say a little bit of So China is actually, if some people cannot remember, gets to the finals last year round. They just lost it to the USA.
Yeah, and then nobody remembers China because USA takes the top.
Yeah, exactly. And I think China actually has more of their old roster than the USA does, to be fair. And I think China's gonna be a little bit better this year because of additions like Crystal, which is really good for Team China. Crystal was one of the really strong players. I mean, in one of the community tournaments, the OGC, the History Cup, it was pretty much Crystal, HVIC, and Rustbell and a few others against Team Ozcrackers, which featured people like Rapid, HSM, and they stomped Ozcrackers in the grand finals 1-7. So that was a thing. And Crystal performed phenomenally on all of the maps.
Seems like they banned out the hidden pool.
Yeah. Seems like no love for hidden, and I understand.
No love for hidden.
Those two hiddens are actually pretty tough.
You can't blame them. This year we do have three very, for lack of a better term, sadistic selectors who do tend to go after some very interesting hidden picks.
Indeed. But like just box standard hidden maps, just difficult maps which aren't too difficult to read, which is overall difficult there, difficulty. They are just missing from the hidden pool because we only have 2 hidden maps left. So those slots are mostly used for really gimmicky or really interesting specific skill sets. For example, we have one with Crocodile, and the other one which is really chaotic in terms of spacing, and then ends up being 200 BPM streams at the end, which is quite interesting of a map really. And both of these maps get banned out, but that doesn't mean that there's any other maps which aren't as technical as those 2 hidden maps in the pool. There's definitely enough maps to test these 2 teams on.
Okay, and seems like Australia has selected their first song, which is Wisdomiot.
Alright, actually, yeah. kicking it off with Stormy. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard song, remixed by Leaf actually. So if you have heard of Calamity Fortune, this is pretty much the sister song of that song, because Calamity Fortune in the original game was categorized in the genre of emotional rock or something, and Wisdomiel here is being categorized by the artist as the rational of the counterpart. So it's going to be an interesting juxtaposition, and you may see some resemblance between the two songs in terms of how they were mapped. Because one thing's for sure that this is not an easy map.
Indeed, and I don't think the map actually went for a rational song, because the beginning is pretty rational and normal with these streams, but the ending is just absolutely insane.
Oh yes, of course.
Because in the end, especially on Scorpion 2, this will be interesting. I don't know, I can smell a lot of slider breaks. Because it starts off with 200 BPM streams, which aren't too difficult for most people in the tournament. It's something you should probably be able to do. But the important part is the ending, where you suddenly have 1/8 repeat sliders in a quick succession, and it's pretty much a part full of them. And if you mistime any of them on Scorpion 2, you can definitely just trip up and miss a slider break on one really easy.
Yeah, and songs like this can really screw up players who have not a very stable mindset going into maps. Like if you're uncomfortable with a pick, this might not be the kind of pick you want to step into.
Yeah, indeed. And Crystal is actually gonna stay in for Team China.
GGBY, Chinese veteran is going to come in. GGBY for a short period of time known as Diao Sun Bai, is a Chinese veteran who's been around for 4 OWCs now.
Indeed, and I know him as being a player who can pretty much play anything, except for some specific things where he just isn't there. It's pretty much the go-to player if you don't have a 4-man roster, as far as I see.
So like you, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. it's just gonna be there, and the difference is that Austria is actually that bad that I actually am in there all the time, and GGBY isn't. That's pretty much the difference with that. But GGBY actually can stream really fast and consistently, and that's why it's actually a really good pick for this map.
Actually, last year,
streams.
yes, last year in the Oz World Cup Grand Finals, GGBY was the go-to person for Team China's plan on Freedom Dive and other, which they did pretty well against Team USA.
Indeed, and that's just a testament of what he's able to do. And this is a little bit slower than Freedom Dive.
Oh, and wait a second. Someone just came into the room and we were not expecting him.
Springland, okay, I thought so, because Crystal playing this wasn't really sitting with me too well. Because I know that some of Crystal's weaknesses, and 200 BPM, I think I want them. Because in the other tournament, you pretty much got swapped out for high BPM streaming and high BPM or just high spacing jumps as well.
Okay, and we're going in. Actually, Box also stepped in. I don't think we mentioned his name.
Box stepped in, okay. So apparently the real trooper, he knows that his team will need him, or we'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully he can perform while he's sick.
Yeah.
We're gonna start pretty slow, and then it's gonna get more intense. Hopefully we won't see any early misses, because then it'll be just about the repeat slider part, which is
actually while you were saying that. Okay, so going into the streamy section, Korelak earlier has become the unfortunate early drop person we've seen, but he still has a way to go. This is only the first part of the map after all, only the first quarter. Right now, Australia is holding a pretty good lead against China thanks to Spring Ling's massive tank on the accuracy. Not sure what happened there. This is not the kind of map he was supposed to do that poorly on. But the thing is, he did, and he has to come back from that. Right now, GGB also broke, Rustbell and RXC holding on for China. Meanwhile, on the Australian side, Box and UYG, not even gonna try. UIG and Box are holding pretty good full combos with considerably better accuracy compared to China's.
Yeah, it seems like some of these players aren't really prepared for a 200 BPM pick, to be honest. Probably because this is like one of the two only maps in this map pool which actually get that high. I mean, the highest BPM on this map pool is 218 BPM streams, which is on the double time pool. But I don't know, these guys need a little bit more warming up for the other three maps. But yeah, we do see the repeat styles and we do see some star breaks.
This really tests your reading, because if you're not careful for even a second, your score can just go away as you slip up on a very simple slider return. Alright, and for this part, we're coming to a slower section before the final speed up. Right now, Australia still has a lead. Spring Lane is recovering his accuracy, but will there be enough time for that? Rosbell, meanwhile, holding pretty good accuracy, 99+% and an FC. RXC still trying to recover. On the Australian side, Fox, FC still 97%. UIG, however, dropping there, not going to be good. Oh, and that's going to give the leeway to China in... Oh, but wait, can they hold it? No! Oh, they're going to get overtaken just like that, right before the slow section starts.
That's really unfortunate.
That is very, very unfortunate. Very close also. Just, I would say this is an accuracy win, even though that Rosbell did hold a full combo to the end, and which was very impressive when everyone else on the field.
Spring Lane also held a full combo. I mean,
yeah.
just look at Spring Lane.
Right. Oh my god, I missed that. But you weren't expecting that. When's the last time you saw a BFC?
Look, I do know that Spring Lane might not be the best in accuracy, but I didn't know he was that.
Yeah, apparently he was one of those players who really cannot adjust to Score V2 on certain maps. And you can see that Score V2 is his bane of existence.
Yeah, I do know Spring Lane of getting some really hard map FCs on like 95-96% accuracy. Not too good, but not too bad either, but I wouldn't have expected something like an 83%, especially with the insane accuracy drops in the beginning. That was actually, I think, a little bit uncharacteristic, as well as GGPY. I don't really expect him to do that bad on a 200 BPM stream map, in terms of accuracy at least.
Right, and I think I may have the answer for that. Spring Lane saying, I'm done, I'm out, and just left. RXC saying, OMG, I was so nervous. That was the first map, and I was so awkward in sections. I'm so nervous right now. Maybe the nerves are getting to these players, even though China does come in here looking better than Australia, but Australia obviously is giving them a run for the money.
Yeah, but I at least have some kind of theory. Usually most of these players should be pretty well on this map. I mean, I can at least expect some 95% accuracy FCs or like 95% accuracy high combo plays, which is like you were not used to 200 BPM perfectly yet. You need to get into it a little bit, so I understand that kind of aspect, that you can't really get an SS off the bat. But I feel like some of these players weren't really ready for 200 BPM because most of the pool is not that high of a BPM. Which you might believe that you're not gonna actually go that high and actually warm that up. You still need to warm up some of these streaming capabilities to do well on these maps.
Right, and GGPY, they're saying 240 double time. RXC correcting him, there's no 240 here. I think he meant the remember history, if I'm not mistaken. No, the Kokoro's not Sumi, that one is 225, roughly. Both are Toho ones, ITH.
Yeah, the one...
Oh, actually no.
Picks.
Yeah, Rosbell is saying it is Kokoro no Sumi.
Okay, so it's gonna be the 280 BPM double time pick, which is the streaming BPM pick in the pool. This map is as straightforward as it can really be. It's all about 218 BPM streaming, and that's it. There's nothing really too special about it. Spacing is low. There are a few jumps which have a little bit bigger spacing, but not too big either. It's really just about the streams.
Yes, and this map can be challenging to some, while for others, this is just a PvP farm map.
Indeed. This was one of the first 300 PP score, by the way, for me.
Oh, 300 you say? I'll keep this in mind and go back to do this map afterwards.
Well, it was a 99% accuracy, CFC, and it definitely requires some 208 PP.
There you go, that's the reason. Yeah, so it's back to playing Dai Genome for me and
Good luck, yeah, friend.
Still trying to get a 300 PP for me. Okay, and D-Sun is gonna come to China. Sorry, gonna come in for China. He is one of China's best double time players, but actually he plays Nightcore most of the time, and I'm sure he would much rather play Nightcore on this map.
Yeah, but I'm actually really happy that we can't force the entire stream on Nightcore, because that would be terrible.
I can see players who would troll just for that, right, Force?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But D-Sun, yeah, definitely. He's a good double player and has really good reading capabilities, because he's a really old player. I mean, when you think of an old player, you mostly think of Doomsday and Bloodful Fruit, but people like Rustbell, D-Sun, GGBY are also really old players and pretty much know their way around the old patterns.
Right.
And just the old mapping style.
This map is very, very tricky in terms of how the spacing is being organized, especially when parts you suddenly see like doubles and triples being alternated in between. That can really trip you up when you are just not paying enough attention.
Yeah, but that's kind of a part where I would expect it not be a problem at all for people on this kind of level. Because when I played, I almost pay no attention to it and just have to focus on the streams really.
Oh, and there's a drop from Box, from Lumiers, while the entire Chinese side is holding full combos. That's not gonna look good.
Oh, and D-Sun actually misses, which is too unfortunate with his accuracy blocking there.
Alright, and Rustbell as well. So at least 2 full combos on the Chinese side. And
I didn't even notice that one.
Yeah, it gives a chance for Australians to come back. If Australia can seize this opportunity and use it to its fullest, they just may have a chance. But right now,
have a beautiful combo advantage.
Yeah,
you're right.
And right now the scoreboard is being displayed to the players, and D-Sun probably just realized the extent of that. Sorry, the severe extent of that drop just there. And Rustbell, I don't think he's feeling the pressure. He probably feels like he can make up for it by his accuracy, which is absolutely insane right now. 99.78.
Yeah, he's still soaring ahead of 2 of the Australian players, even though they've got a pretty good combo advantage so far, but it's just the accuracy is way too good, 99.81, and it just keeps on increasing, or decreasing as he gets in 100s.
Alright, and the lead is slowly shrinking though. Australia, do they have a chance to make this back? It's the final part of the map. Will we see the same thing happen to China happen to Australia?
Oh, I don't think the spin is gonna be enough, because it is
spin to win, boys! No.
A 30k point difference is not enough for a spin to win, unfortunately.
But this is very close. The 30k is being held to the very end. Even though UYG and Doomy did absolutely amazing for the team, just holding on where everyone else is just dropping around the board, they were not enough to combat that GGBY and RXE with the help of D-Sun and Rustbell there. Box also noteworthy mention that one miss was probably the only mistake he made the entire map. Otherwise, I'm sure if he were feeling a bit better, he could have done a lot better as well.
Yeah, and that was pretty much an accuracy win on China's part, because if you look at the combos, Australia just had way better combos on the 2 players who missed.
Which is interesting, because China really isn't the most accurate team out there. I would say that probably belongs to like United States or Korea, but China usually makes up by having a stronger combo roster.
Indeed, and I also have that kind of feeling about China. They're all about the combo, but it's not really important as being the best team in accuracy. It's about being better in accuracy or better in the aspect than the opposing team.
Indeed.
That's why you can pick some really questionable picks for your team. For example, if your team is not really good at double time or 10.3, but you think you're better than the enemy team on it, you can still pick it and get a really good chance of winning. because it's all about just being better than your opposing team at specific skill sets, not being the best at something. And obviously, being the best at something is gonna help these teams out if they really want to win the entire World Cup. So China's definitely gonna have to prove themselves. They do have the 2-0, but I think this is way too close for their comfort.
In fact, actually the pick is gonna be answered. Wait, haven't we seen this before 3 years ago in the O's World Cup 2013?
It's not the same answer map, I believe.
Not the same answer. Okay.
It's a more modern interpretation of it, let's put it that way, which is by RSC and not by the mapper's name is unfortunately evading me. But this is actually a little bit easier than the one 3 years ago because it's mapped in a more modern sense that at least you can follow it more easily, but it still has some intricacies like the map is pretty much designed around having you move all over the screen non-stop. It has a decent slider velocity, which means the sliders are actually rather long compared to other maps, and the node placement is placed in such a way that you just move all the way from every side of the map all the time, and it just takes every opportunity to do so, which might throw some people off guard. And it's only 5.2 stars, and if you're not on top of your reading game, you will definitely miss on this one. But it's also 220 BPM single tapping, so if you can't do that, also not a good idea. But for most people with good reading, this shouldn't be too much of a problem. And actually, even though this is a pick for Australia, I'd probably give China the advantage on it. Unless they surprise me.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that China may take this one, considering they've got a pretty strong nomad roster to combat this kind of nomad pick. But then again, Australia picking it, knowing that they're up against China, they probably have something brewing. I would say having Peekaboo coming in here probably means that they've thought about this through and they're willing to take the risk. Meanwhile for China, Tokichi and Matsumoto Risa are gonna step in for this pick.
Peekaboo, see, I'm actually surprised there's a Moo in there, not a Peekaboo.
Yeah, I was gonna read that, you know, like...
Maybe to Austria as being confused with Australia, because we've got a bunch of Moo cows here in Austria. Well, actually, surprisingly, the Raspel is getting swapped out for Matsumoto Riese, I think it's right? Not Rice. Riese. Matsumoto Riese. I'm not too sure, I just remember that I mispronounced his name like 2 years ago. Everyone, do we have some more input for that name? On its pronunciation?
It's pronounced the Japanese way, Matsumoto Rise. Very long name actually, eclipsing the accuracy bar, which is a problem for commentators.
Yeah, I remember I called him Matsumoto Rise, which was a rather...
That's cool too, that's cool too.
I remember it was actually pretty cool with it.
Wow, Locked confirming for us there. MVP Locked.
Doing it in the most offensive way possible. I like it. Nihongo, okay. So it's gonna be Matsumoto Risa, I think.
Yeah.
All right, but on the other side of this team, we do see Disa and GGBY and Tokichi. Tokichi actually being a traitor in this case. Defecting from Team Australia to China. Yeah, I think he moved or something, and he's actually of Chinese descent, so that's kind of a thing.
He was earlier in July we had a meetup with Chinese players in Guangzhou, and Tokichi attended there, and we basically went around and did some stupid stuff around the anime convention.
I see. I mean, always good fun. But Tokichi is actually one of the powerhouses in tournaments. His focus is aiming and not necessarily too much reading, but aiming in general just and double time. So that's kind of the focal point for him.
Obviously, he's not backing up there, but
Yeah,
I'm sure it's just an early miss.
He's backing up the aiming part, but not the reading part.
Yeah, maybe he's actually backing up the Australian part.
Oh, well, he might be a double agent.
Hashtag conspiracy theory. And then again, I mean, for the Australian side right now, they do have a lead, which thanks to Tokichi, although Pikamu did drop earlier as well, like about 40 combos in. But it's not going to be important because this map has a long way to go.
Indeed, and Matsumoto Riza is going to be actually one of the flex players who pretty much plays if no one else is really up for the challenge. This map is actually pretty consistent in its difficulty, and it's just moving your cursor around all the time. I mean, just look at it. One time you're in the top left, and you're top right, bottom right, and then suddenly you just swap around. And even if you have like a long time between two nodes, the map still thinks, well, there's so much time between the nodes, let's just mirror the pattern at the other side of the map, because why not? It's stuff like that which can trip you up pretty badly.
Right, and some players who might not be used to this kind of style from the new era will find this to be particularly unbearing. And meanwhile, on the Australian side, noteworthy, we do have Weber and Lumiere holding pretty good accuracy there, and definitely outperforming China in general. Whereas, I'm not sure, I think Matsumoto Riza has a 99+% also, but his name is kind of... Okay, there you go, thank you so much. And the lead is actually not much, they're just it's flickering almost.
Well, because they lost most of the combos, Decent missed, unfortunately, and so did Matsumoto Riza.
Oh, so that means there's a chance for Australia. So telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a chance because we still have around 1/5 of a map left, and GGBY has missed, so this isn't looking too good for China.
Oh
currently.
yeah, this is definitely a chance coming in for Australia. They got 3 full combos and pretty good accuracy. So if they take off like that, which they are, 200,000 in difference now, they'll be able to make sure that they get a point before China can take a breath here.
Oh, the 2 misses from Weber and
oh, I did speak too soon.
Coming in.
But then again, there's no more full combos on the Chinese side, and that's just gonna be how they're gonna finish the map. Matsumoto Riza holding the highest combo on the field right now, and that is being neutralized by Pikamu.
All 3 players of Australia feeling the pressure and missing around the same time. Actually, well coordinated. They're a real team.
Yeah.
They even coordinate their misses.
If this were Olympic Olympic sports, I'd give them a 9 out of 10.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And that's gonna be Australia's first point in this game. Actually, wait, did GGBY fail near the end, or is it just me?
It was also a fail for me. We're gonna have to check the MP.
Yeah. So if we can have someone tell us what the MP says. Oh, it seems like apparently GGBY did in fact fail. Yeah. And meanwhile, Weber they're lamenting the triplet miss, and of course everyone is being nervous on the field right now. So that speaks the atmosphere within the room. Also, that shout out to Luniere's 3 100s only. That is absolutely amazing considering how average everyone else was doing. I'm not even going to go there.
They were doing pretty okay.
They're doing okay. They're doing pretty okay.
But accuracy wasn't really the problem for this map. It was pretty much just being on top of the game. And if you make a mistake, that's pretty much where you make an accuracy drop. That's pretty much the map in a nutshell. Accuracy shouldn't be the main focus of this map.
But then again, that's still only 1 miss coming in. So that's pretty close to a full combo in my dictionary.
Yeah, the reverse sweep coming in for Australia.
Oh boy, Australia's gonna make this 2-5.
Well, that kind of reminds me of the time where Xytex called at the beginning of the map, I'm gonna see, and then he ended up having the lowest points.
Wait, I think I remember that time.
I think you remember that one.
Yeah. You screen cap that and send it to me afterwards, which I thought like such a dick move to do for Excited, but it's hilarious. Okay, so it's back to China's pick now. So China is gonna pick within 30 seconds.
Alright, looking at the map pool, I think some interesting places to attack would be some appropriate 8 maps perhaps for China, because they do have some really good reading players. People like, I know, Deesan and Rasper could come in there and play some of this appropriate 8 stuff. And it's gonna be an appropriate 8 map, Extreme Fantasy. I was about to say that Extreme Fantasy would be really risky, so perhaps they might go for the Fremont appropriate 8, because that's also really risky for Harbor. But it's gonna be Extreme Fantasy, appropriate 8, 152 BPM streams. Not too fast, but don't
let that for now.
Oh yeah, Doomy, goodbye Doomy. He's definitely not for the appropriate 8 pick here. But this map, I believe, is the hardest map to assess in the entire map pool, because it just has so many weird things going for it. On Scorpio 2, it's pretty disgusting actually.
It's very undervalued by its start difficulty, giving off the impression that you can full combo it when you are just a 5,000 player. Well, in fact, that's not correct at all. And this is one map that's going to really trip people up.
Indeed. I think it's only 4.8 stars, but the important part about it is that it's CS5. That's one key thing. Also, it's 152 ppm streams all throughout, but there are some awkward parts in it. For example, in the KI times, the reference of the song, you have really, or before it, you pretty much have really long sliders, which are too long for their own good. Like, they just keep on going, and then you suddenly, at the end of the slider, you have to immediately jump to the next slider, and perfectly timing the beginning and the end of the sliders is pretty insane.
Yeah, especially on AR8, and that's going to require you to be well versed in AR8, as in like you grew up with it, as in you from an old era. Many players nowadays lack this ability, and I will say that I myself am not an exception. But AR8 reading is definitely something very important this OWC, and I predict that's going to stay true at least until the end of this OWC.
Indeed, but the important part is in single player, you can actually assess this map more easily than in Scorpio 2, because on the sliders you can cheat. You can get too late to the beginning of the slider, so you have this kind of buffer. You can still get 100 on, but now you need to be on point. Otherwise you're getting 100 all the time on the sliders. And at the end you actually have a stream which changes stream spacing because of some whoops in the background, which look like normal streams, but only distinguishable by new combo spam. So you see a bunch of colors changing, which means that the 152 BPM stream changes to 114 BPM.
And Crystal once again requesting for extension for China. Seems like they're still deciding on possibly who to come in for this pick.
Indeed. But Crystal makes I think that's a good lineup. Perhaps Matsumoto Riese is going to get swapped out. But Crystal is a good pick for Portrait Rustbell, no question about it. Deesan
I would say Deesan and Rustbell are pretty much like the standard picks for this.
Set in stone. But yeah, Matsumoto Riese, I think in this case is just kind of the fourth player who hopefully is gonna perform well enough, better than his other teammates. But the focus isn't really on him. Perhaps if he does well, obviously we're gonna give him the spotlight, but players to look out for are Rustbell, Deesan, Crystal perhaps, Box, and I believe Weaver. And the map is gonna start. It's gonna start off really chill, at least 152 ppm streams all the time. Not too big of a problem unless you can't time it properly at all.
It's definitely worth watching out for.
And the long sliders.
As always, we're seeing that Australia has an early accuracy advantage. China has to really work on this front in order to make sure that something like this don't happen every single time.
Actually, we do see Rasper and Decent playing phenomenally on this fan map.
Yeah, this is also a very slow stream compared to what most players are used to nowadays. We are so used to just spam streaming 190, 200, 210. That streaming this, I think, is 160?
No, it's 152 BPM.
152, even slower. So it's going to really trip people up. And actually, we do see Disa and Masmoto Rise both dropping combos there. And they are not alone because Lumineers and Weber on the other side also dropped combo. That's going to leave Box and UIG against Rustbell and Crystal.
Yeah, GD is actually performing pretty well on it as well, but he messed up his accuracy on the...
Oh no! That stream was so ugly, I'm sorry, Yogiti. Oh, and that was just as disgusting. But yeah, as players, as you can see, this is the kind of thing you can expect when you are not used to AR8 and slow streams.
I think Yugidi is actually pretty well versed in Approach 8. It was just these changing of the stream speeds the problem.
Oh yeah,
that BPM 152 and reversed.
Definitely.
Just Rustbell rocking with 99% currently. I mean, it pretty much shows Rustbell knows this map inside and out. We do see some triples at the end, a few sliders, but nothing too much of a problem currently. But Rustbell still manages to miss on it, but nonetheless...
That's the one miss Rustbell for you.
But I think actually this might go into Australia's favor because of the miss of Rustbell.
Oh wait, did they actually take this? But on my screen it shows that China got the point.
Well, they took it by 9k for me. Well, let's just check.
Wait, what's the MP for this? This is way too close.
The MP says that Australia won by 9,000 points.
Oh wow, that's so close. Yeah, so that's why we have this discrepancy between your screen and my screen then.
Indeed, you can't really trust the tournament client all the time because some packets might be lost.
Yeah, we do have that last year where China against the USA, and on the map I think it was Kakusetsu's the Thanatos, and they actually also had this problem where we thought that USA had won but China took it.
Yeah, it's just the way technology kind of works. Sometimes you lose packets and things still need to keep on working if you lose packets. You can't just freeze everything when you drop like one byte in the depths of the internet. So for now we can just trust the MP link, and it is a 9k points difference.
Regardless, that's still very close, and Australia certainly did not give up until the very end. And China here really not showing their A game, if I were to say it myself. So Australia, great job, and China, you gotta start working now.
Indeed, I actually expect this to be in China's favor. A few uncharacteristic misses by Desan, and Rustbell's miss at the end was way too unfortunate.
Way too unfortunate.
I mean, he pretty much had this in the bag single-handedly, but that miss pretty much showed the discrepancy between him and his other teammates, not just lagging a little bit behind compared to Australia. But the approach at 8th pick actually backfiring, so let's see what Australia is gonna pick. And they're gonna go for the second approach. I was about to say they might go for the approach at 8 free mod pick, but that's, I believe, a little bit too much of a difference compared to this map. It is still CS5, that's the same thing going for it. As well, it's approach at 8, that's another thing going for it. But the difference is that it's 190 BPM and it's free mod, which means that 2 players in each team have to pick a mod, hidden or harder, or both. But in this case, the 2 guys with a mod are probably gonna be sacrificial lambs, because this map on hard rock is pretty hard, CS 6.5, and the ending has some disgusting streams in it. and just misaiming one part beginning of something is enough to screw you over and kill you.
And I believe this, this difficulty is also mapped by the famous mapper Les Ju. I'm not really sure, like, Les Ju, Like, one thing I don't know is I do pronounce a J as Y or like as J itself. Well, he's not around now for us to ask him, but I think it's Les Ju or something. But regardless, like, we've seen these past 4 points taken with more or less very close margins, at least for 2 of them. This last one we've seen especially only 9k. That speaks about these 2 teams as in that they are not really that far apart in skill for this map pool at least, and anything can happen really. So in fact, I smell a tiebreaker or potential Australia upset.
Yeah, I mean, they hopefully know what they're doing. Hopefully it's not a just instinctive pick because they just want an approach with 8 map. I mean, that's just the way you can kind of you can plan your picks by going and improvising, by seeing what the enemy is good at and what you win against the enemy and what you might do in accordance to what you've seen previously. But the maps are way too close to really give me no reason in my doubt that Australia's gonna take this. It's just way too close all the time.
Right, and for this pick, we do see GGBY on Hard Rock, Rustbell rocking the Hidden. ITH and Jumi on the Australian side decide to go with Hard Rock.
Yeah, so not surprising at all. Rustbell, the only one with Hidden. This map has way too much of a choke potential at the ending. Plus, approach with 8 on Hidden is not really something you really want to do.
And I do think that he's more of a Hidden player than a Hard Rock player. He did pull some incredibly interesting scores on Hidden.
Indeed. The map is gonna start off pretty standard. At least the standards that it can get for an old map. DJ pop style. Bunch of single taps, bunch of triplets burst. But the ending is gonna be the most intense part of the entire song, which gives you so many streams which you can mess up really easily.
Indeed, and this really tests your player's ability whether or not he can read. If he cannot, he can always go with Hard Rock, but then again he has to incur that accuracy penalty and also that very stringent drain on V2, which you can see ITH is just losing already half of his HP bar. And if this goes on any further and he doesn't recover his accuracy in time, he may very well fail.
And look at GGBY on Hard Rock, CS6.5, 99% accuracy, but I don't think he's gonna really hold it because the ending is coming up.
Come on, don't jinx him like that. Oh, and in fact, we always see players fail this map, that's a question, but Rustbell, meanwhile, holding a double S, what is he doing? That is absolutely insane. And that's going to be, and that's going to be your first double S of the elimination stage by Rustbell on Hidden. And this point taken by China. Top score, of course, goes to Rustbell with a Hidden double S. And Desun there with a full combo as well. Matsumoto Risa getting a 1 miss, but still very strong accuracy. On the Australian side, Weber only 100, still very impressive. That 1 miss near the end was probably what Forrest was referring to in his stream, in his commentating, sorry. And Doomy there, not really his most ideal performance because I know that he is a better Hard Rock player than this. And I'm sure that he, in the following maps, will prove us right in that case.
Indeed, and ItsGU actually failed the map of Hard Rock, unfortunately. That was pretty much the choke potential at the ending. And I was actually worrying more about the hidden players in terms of choking on this map, but Rustbell is not just any hidden player, and that's why he just performed phenomenally on it. But I can imagine on other maps or other matches we can see that hidden is going to be way more interesting than just let's get an assassin, prove everything wrong that I can choke on this. There's still a bunch of choke potential at the end. Rustbell just made it look really easy.
And I like how Matsumoto Risa in the chat is being the renegade for life there. Octave saying, you push you faster now. Okay, so give me 1 minute.
That's the way of making business and trading.
You can see that
probably only needs 30 seconds, but he knew that Lockdown is just gonna half it, so he said 1 minute, which is more than he needs.
I see. So it's just to a layman's point of view, this is very, very, very,
good
daring.
choice. Good strategic choice.
That's not what I mean. Okay, but we're going with Ymir. And also on the meanwhile, we do have Italy versus South Korea going on at the same time. Once we finish this match, we'll switch over, and of course we'll keep you guys updated if anything comes up from there before we go in. That is. We do have 4 hours of streams back to back, and I believe all the round of 16 matches will happen today in the UTC time.
Indeed. We'll have a little bit of a break in between, so the middle of the matches. We're gonna have around 4 matches and then a break, and then another 4 matches in the evening or later on, depending on where you are.
So you can grab a snack or maybe grab some food. Personally, I like to just have my meal while I'm watching OWC. While I was watching OWC last year, and yeah, actually, Forrest, what do you think is your pick of a food you want to eat while you're watching OWC?
Oh, for OWC, what pick? Well, obviously I'm Austrian, so I'm gonna go for the schnitzel.
Schnitzel, of course, yeah. I'm Chinese and Canadian, but I'm gonna go with pizza because I'm a filthy college student who can afford good food.
Yeah, but at least you can make it a little bit more Canadian by having some maple syrup on top of it, even though it might taste really disgusting, but at least you're...
Oh, I don't know about that. Canadians have the power and the magic to make anything tasty with maple syrup.
But I don't even want to imagine the taste, but let's get back to the match, because Ymir has been picked by China.
Yes, and the interesting about this map is that it is the lowest star rating map so far in OWC, only 4.2 stars.
On no one that have ever released.
Oh, no one, yes, in which case that would be no, but if it were being put on Hard Rock, I think it goes up to 4.4-ish?
4.6-ish, I would imagine.
Okay.
But I would have to look. It's still pretty low.
So yeah, so it's not the lowest in that sense, because I somehow remember this as being the lowest. I'm not sure why, but in that case, it's still a map very heavily under-reflected by its star difficulty rating.
Indeed, and the important part about this is first it's Hard Rock, forcing everyone to pick power on this, so it's CS6.5 goodness for everyone, for the entire family. To enjoy, and the hard part about this is, especially CS6.5 is gonna make it a bit hard to see. And secondly, the rhythm is really difficult and the sliders are absolutely unforgiving. So having a map which is rhythmically really difficult and the sliders being difficult, plus having CS6.5 to make aim difficult, so in terms of FC, it just makes one hell of a map, and I believe this is one of the most difficult maps in the map pool.
Yeah, so definitely the players are going to go in, and let's see how they're going to do it. This is not a long map, but it is very tricky.
And Rosman is actually going to be in this one, even though he's not really too much of a fan of Hard Rock, but it's still going to be, because there seems to be no other really choice for this.
I think the other choice would probably be Spring Lane or Toshino Kyoko, who's not on the roster this year. So they have to do with having a substandard Hard Rock's roster for this pick.
Kichi would also be okay on Hard Rock. But
but I'm not sure why. Maybe they haven't practiced enough for this.
Yeah, that might also be a possibility. Springlane or Tokichi would be alternatives, but this is the roster they have decided to go with. And let's see how well they will perform. GGBY showed that he's really good at C6.5 on the last map.
Yeah, GGBY has been playing for a very, very long time. He's one of the first, I think he is the first player in OS to hit level 104, and he's actually level 105 now. So that, if you're wondering what does that speak about a player, it speaks that he has submitted a lot of scores and that he has a lot of experience behind his back. So you're looking at a player who's possibly very well literate in mapping styles and patterns, and who can perform just as good as you would expect him to in tournaments.
Indeed, and look at GGBY, decent and Rasper, the old player combination. But the accuracies are lacking, obviously, because this is absolutely hell to act properly.
Yeah, I can imagine, like a CS 6.5 on this kind of style. No, not my thing, please. I'm just gonna pack my stuff and leave, excuse me, please.
I also think that this map might have one of the highest ban rates. next to the hidden maps and perhaps Extreme Fantasy.
We'll have to see about that. But for this first round, China is absolutely dominating here with 1 million lead. Thanks to GGPY and Rust Belt, they are holding FCs. No FCs on the Australian side though, but ITH and UIG holding strong there. I'm actually not even gonna pronounce their name at this point.
And this is gonna be the second fail from Ifgiu.
Yeah, with Australia really performing lackluster there. I can't blame them. This is a Chinese pick after all. But on the other hand, we do have two FCs, actually one FC, sorry, from Rust Belt, and the GGPY holding pretty close, missing about like couple dozen combos behind. Not really a lot, but I mean, D-San is saying that something's maybe wrong with his hand. Maybe he's not warmed up enough.
Well, but those are really good performances from China, nonetheless.
Apparently D-San was complaining about the last slider, and he completely forgot about that last slider.
Oh, Lord. Alright, but a really good pick by China in this case. I mean, they definitely prefer that one. Australia doesn't really have too much options left, except to go for standard picks, and it seems like alternating is gonna be the next thing they're gonna test themselves on. Which is Kamisama Nejimaki from Silver Reed. A 5.2 star, 5.3 star, 284 BPM alternating map. Which means the alternating paths are 142 BPM, but this map is actually as standard as you could get for an alternating map. You can actually even single tap it, because the the sequences of circles in a row aren't too long. So even if you can't really single tap 280 BPM 1/2, it's still easy enough for you to keep up with the speed. Because the bursts are around 3 nodes or 5 nodes. And then you have a slider to kind of catch up again. So this map is gonna be consistently difficult throughout the entire map. That's the thing going for it. With one part which should be highlighted a little bit, which is the solo at the start of the last third of the map. It does have the first stream of the entire map, which is 1/3, around 200 BPM. But it's rather short, and it's not too much of a difficulty spike. It's just consistently difficult throughout the map.
Oh, and Crystal pointed out there are two XCs in the room. We have Fox and ArtXC.
Oh, that's definitely something. So, Efren, who do you think is gonna take this? Even though it's Australia's pick, would you give this to China?
It's interesting. I think this can go either way. It just depends on, like, as you mentioned, like a couple of tricky sections. Can the players hold through them, or will they trip up? Because to be honest, I've seen like a lot of players posting screenshots on this map. They've been getting like pretty good accuracies, like 100s, 2 100s, and usually it's 1 miss or even like just no miss, 1 slider break. So like those are the things you have to look out for. If you can combat those efficiently, you should be able to do fine. So in this case, I will just leave it hanging for now.
Yeah, I'd say people to watch out for Crystal and Rust Belt on this map, because this is kind of Crystal's type of map. And on the other side, I wouldn't really know too well of the Australian side how well they can perform on this kind of map. I think Box should be pretty decent on it at least, because he's pretty much an all-round player and can do anything.
On Score V1, this is very easy to get good accuracy on. Yeah. But on Score V2, thanks to the massive amount of sliders on here, and we have a good timing window of them, that means we do have to take into account of those slider accuracies as well, whereas in Score V1 we don't. Therefore, accuracy may drop.
Indeed, but unfortunately Crystal is the first one to drop.
Oh yes, that's true.
I still believe in Crystal.
But he's not going to be alone, because Jumi on the Australian side is going to keep him company in the dropped players' bench seats. And thanks to that, China is going to use this chance to quickly close up the gap. But that drop from Rust Belt, not expected and not going to help. And he's just the slider movement is reflecting how just frustrated he is by that miss.
I believe China is just wanting some more tiebreaker practice, so they...
Yeah, possibly, because we know that if they go in deeper in this, they play more tiebreakers and they want to get as many practice done as possible. And for information, the tiebreaker is Deep for the Delta by Camellia.
Indeed, it's a rather Kickstarter heavy map, so it might go either way on that one. But currently Australia is performing pretty well on this pick.
Right, because Australia still has 3 full combos and ongoing. So if they hold it to the end, they'll be good. But right now the score lead isn't that big of a difference because the accuracy still plays a big part, and that the scoreboard is now displayed. So let's see how that affects the player. Affects the players' mentality.
I mean,
oh, and that back and forth screwed up Box.
Yeah, Box definitely missed on that one, but China's actually looking pretty strong currently.
Oh, but I'm still having frequent hopes for this Australian roster because they've proven themselves they can come back from just downwards uphill battles, and maybe they can pull something out here. I don't know, but looking at Luniere's and UIG, not even gonna try. Their accuracies are speaking pretty good. So for this duration of this match, Luniere's dropping a little bit there and actually dropping completely.
And there we go, Hard XC gonna be the next one to drop. They do definitely want to catch up with the 2 tiebreakers the USA had practice on. China definitely needs some more tiebreaker practice of their own.
Yeah, China's like, USA having 2 tiebreakers already? Not fair, I want to one more as well. Oh, and oh yes, I should also mention to the viewers that this song is actually covered by our own, one of our members of the OS community, Silvery, who's a Japanese player and a very good singer.
Well, this is actually going to be really close because the combo advantage is in Australia's favor.
Oh,
this
yes.
It's going to be enough because the last notes, no, it's not because of a 40,000 points difference.
Ah, very close still, very close. Like I said, this is just one very intensely close match. With the exception of maybe 1 or 2 maps, the points are all taken in like tens of thousands of margins. And that's just unbelievably close for a round of 16 pool, where you expect teams like China to be almost dominating the other.
Yeah, actually, Crystal did perform pretty well on
it.
Unfortunately, that one miss at the beginning.
Of course, and
but Rosberg's miss in the middle. I've seen his cursor shake after that one. He was definitely not happy with that miss.